Jess T. Jess T. Right here, right now on countryradiouk.
Well, hello there. This is Jess T on countryradiouk, and today I have the beautiful Jessica Lynn. Jessica, where are you? Are you over in New York right now?
I am. We've been stationary in New York for probably the longest time that I remember in several years.
I'm sure it's been a very strange time. How are you doing? First of all, you doing
We're
well?
doing good. You know, just trying to make the most of the situation. I'm a big believer in that you have to just kind of see the silver lining and everything. And it's been different being home, but it's been nice to experience summer things, that I haven't gotten to experience in the USA even for the last 4 years. So it's interesting.
Well, yeah, but this has been strange times, as we know, but incredibly positive in their own way. Like you say, we've found ways of being positive every day and finding, I suppose being at home, while odd, has meant that we've taken more time to look at the simpler things in life, perhaps. I think that's
very true.
Yeah. And musically, how have you been doing? Because you're still bringing out the music, and we'll talk about Run 2 and the new single very soon. But how have you been musically at home?
For me, we spend so much time on the road, and that's how I really built my career, not releasing music. It's been just getting out on tour. So for me, it was a very interesting switch of gears to just stay home and just solely focus on the music and not on a live show or on tour logistics or, the planning of all of that. And it's been interesting creatively. A big positive to come out of this for me has been that what was going to be just be an EP now turned into a full-length album. Because I'm home to be able to finish it. We just physically weren't going to have the time. We are supposed to spend 5 months on the road starting in May. So a lot of new music coming. We've just been working every day in the studio, and it's exciting to get to release my first full-length studio album.
Absolutely. What a positive thing to come out of this time for you. And as you were saying, you were due to do a tour. Now, if I'm right, was that meant to be 11 countries?
Yeah, at least. We had some more stuff in the works too that never wound up, coming to light because of everything that had happened. But, everything happens for a reason. And next year, everything just got shifted to next year. So honestly, that's best case scenario. The tour will be bigger next year because we already added 2 additional dates in the UK. So we have more time and energy to put it together. And I think it's going to be great.
Absolutely. When are you booked for next year? Just so everybody knows when the next dates are.
We start in May. So I believe our first date is May 4th or 5th. And we're staying for over a full 2 weeks. So I'm very, very excited. I love the UK. I love the people there. We've gotten so close with so many of you guys over the years. And
well, you're coming to do Buckle and Boots, I hope.
Say it again?
You're coming to do Buckle and Boots, I hope. Is that right?
I don't think so. I think we have a date conflict. I believe we're booked in Germany on that day. But we're just coming for a bunch of clubs and places we haven't been to before too, like Wales and a bunch of really neat spots. So I'm really excited.
Oh, fantastic. Well, at least we get to see you and we can all, travel where we need to. Whereabouts are you coming over to the UK? You know whereabouts you be?
Yeah, if I can remember, we're doing London,
excellent.
Birmingham, Aberdeen area, Glasgow. Oh my gosh, so many places. There's so many.
Well, good selection. We can come and say, are you in Wales as well? Wonderful. So you're going to all the corners and we'll get to see you wherever we are. Brilliant.
Yes.
Absolutely brilliant. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Jess, because, you've got a really varied career. That you've done so much out there. And I just want, the listeners to get an opportunity to really understand the amount of work that you've put in, because I will say, your traveling and your touring is immense and the dedication that you show is unbelievable. And you're your interaction with the fans is hugely noticeable as being, you know, really personal. You always get back to every single person. It's no, you know, we see that, and it's just it's a lovely thing. So, you know, it's good for everyone to know just that little bit more about you, I think, and there's lots to know.
That means a lot to me. Thank you. That really is very important to me. Like, the whole reason that I do music in the first place, obviously I love music and playing music, but for me, it's just such an incredible thing how you can connect with people through music and lyrics. Like, the friendships I've formed over the years, or just the beautiful sentiments that people have told me about what songs mean to them or whatever. I mean, that's the reason that's what keeps you going, you know, through this very difficult business. So it's important for me to always chat with people online, because that's how you find out those things. You know, if you're so isolated and separated from everybody, you'll never get what's like the most wonderful experience and aspect of actually doing this. But my career started being a New Yorker. I was never the most country of places, but I'm sure you guys can relate being in the UK. And I totally loved it. My dad I grew up with my dad listening to it in the house, and he always had Glenn Campbell and George Strait on for car rides, and Phil Vassar, who I became a really big fan of. And I always played in a rock and roll band, because God forbid you were telling your friends you were listening to country.
I have the same thing over here. I'm now loud and proud, but for many years it was country.
Yep, it's so true. And, you know, so I was playing in it was very No Doubt-ish, my high school band. And I started playing when I was 13 years old, all over New York City with this kid band. We were playing, like, competing in adult competitions. And I just knew, like, this is what I want to do. And I'm going after this. Yeah. And through a series of heartbreaks, because they were kids. And even though I was a kid, I always had this extreme drive and focus that other kids didn't have. Like, I knew this is what I wanted to do with my life. And so that band broke apart, as many bands do. And I said, when I was about 19 years old, I tried so hard to get it back together, different kids, and it just never had the same magic as that original little group had. And I said, you know what, if anyone's ever going to mess this up for me again, I want it to be me. I'm going to go solo. I met my husband going to college, actually. And not for music, for actually math and education. And I started writing all this country music when I met him. Something about meeting him just inspired this entire album's worth of country music. And literally on a hope and a prayer, we filmed a concert special for television. Because I said to my dad, like, I want to record a CD. Like, let's do this. I'm going to be a solo artist now, and I'm just going to go by my name. And he's like, well, everybody does a CD. Do something different. Right. And I was like, he said, why don't you try TV? And I said, who is ever going to air? Like, hey, put me on TV. Like, I'm nobody. Like, and he said, you know what? Worst comes to worst, you have a live show to shop your band with and to show your music to people. And literally hired like the cheapest, most affordable camera crew. We got a venue for free that like was not even opened yet. And it wound up actually going nationwide on American television. And that's how my whole career started. The next summer we got.
That's it.
Yeah.
Take a risk. You take a risk.
Yeah.
And
you have to.
That's great.
This whole business is nothing but a chance, you know, no matter what you do. And if you never take that chance, I mean, believe me, I've lost plenty of times on the chances that I've taken here, lost so much money on just bad decisions, or, you know, it was always this or that. And sometimes you're like, this is the one, and it winds up, you fall flat on your face after investing in it. But sometimes that one leap of faith does pan out. And the next summer we got calls. I was opening for Brad Paisley. I went on tour with Jody Messina. We did festivals with Keith Urban and Montgomery Gentry. And ever since then, it's just kind of been a whirlwind.
And Lone Star, I hear about Lone Star. Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
When I read that, I was like, Lone Star are just, my childhood country introductory band, I believe, you know.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
It will make you very happy to hear that they were some of the nicest people we have ever played with. so funny, so friendly. After the show, they invited the band and I back onto their tour bus. We stayed for like an hour and a half, just trading like cheesy, terrible, embarrassing stories of like being on the road. And
That's the fun bit.
yeah, the nicest. We had a great and very goofy, like not trying to be too cool, like just having a good time.
That's fantastic. So you have got to sing with, you know, big stars, you know, like Keith Urban. How was that? You know, that's interesting too. Just a completely different mix of music and different mix of artists.
Yeah, so we played 3 festivals with Keith Urban, and we never actually got to meet him because the first 2 festivals, we did back-to-back festivals with him. We had to leave to drive to the next city before he went on, which is so stinky. Like sometimes that just happens. But everybody said we were with his crew all day that was there earlier. I guess he just flew in later for the show, and they all spoke so highly of him and said what a nice person he is, that he treats everybody, even to the girls selling his t-shirts, with just like the utmost respect and consideration. An interesting thing we found out from being with his crew, he requests everything black solo cups, black towels, everything black.
I get that. That's
yeah.
You know, that is the most important thing, and that's what I was saying to you. You know, it's about being there with your fans and being there with your co-workers and your crew and your production team and everybody. And you know, so talking about that, you actually have a family band, which is really interesting. So your mum does your BVs, is that right? And your dad is your bass guitarist and your manager.
Yeah,
that's lovely.
And my husband's my lead guitarist.
He is indeed. So it's a lovely family there. And you get to travel together. How does that work out? Do you get on each other's nerves?
Definitely. You know, it's really an incredible, obviously everybody gets sick of each other. It's a lot of togetherness. I mean, sometimes we're in the car for like for example, the festivals with Keith Urban, when we had to leave, we had a 13-hour drive that we had to do. They were 2 huge festivals, and obviously we're not in a spot like Keith Urban yet where we could just fly to the next place. No. Like we had to drive ourselves there, so we had to leave early in order to make that crazy drive. But you're tired, you're hungry, but the experiences that you have together make everything so worthwhile. And you know, my band, even though they're not all family, the rest of them have been with me since 2012. Wow. So that's a very long time. And we are like family. I mean, we spend holidays together. We actually have a tradition after every single tour, the very next night, we all get together and have a family dinner. It's just like a very special dynamic that we have together. And it's a special bond because you experience things together that no one else can really understand. You know, the roller coaster of the ups and downs is not something that's easily understood by people that haven't experienced it.
No, and there's a lovely safety and security. And like I say, you know, jokingly, that family get on each other's nerves, but how lovely to have that, you know, that safety and trust that you have with your family there. And the fact that you don't, you know, have what a lot of musicians get, which is terribly missing home and missing family. I mean, I'm sure you still miss the people you do leave behind, but that comfort of having your family with you must be quite, you know, it must leave a warm, fuzzy feeling at least.
Yeah, you never feel, I honestly never get homesick because home is not the building that you have your stuff in. No. You know, it really isn't. I get to have my husband, my parents everywhere, and the band. I mean, we truly are. Even the percussionist Matt that's in the band, like he was my bridesman in my bridal party. Like he's like a brother to me. Yeah. So we're all together. And the best way I can describe, I thought a lot about this over the years because everybody always wants to know what it's like traveling with your family. And the absolute best way that I can describe it, that you could really understand it, is you know, when you're driving in your car and you see like the most incredible sunset and you're trying to get a picture of it with your cell phone and it never looks as good in your phone after. Yeah. It's like that, where I can look next to me and my husband and be like, oh my gosh, we experienced this amazing moment together, rather than being like, oh, look at this wonderful person I met that like changed my life with what they said after the show, or like he was there to see it and feel it. Like it's a different bond.
That's really special and unique and rare. And I think that's it's a lovely thing to have that experience with them for sure. So other things that I've done my research on you, of course, and I'm really interested in all the work that you do with the military and with the US Army as well, the veterans. How does that work? How do you incorporate that into your music?
Well, for me, I'm a big believer that if you have a platform, you should use it to do good. And when I say that, I don't mean just take on any and every opportunity to do a charitable thing, because that's not genuine, and that's, it's just too much. And then you can't also give your true focus and full heart and soul to each thing. So I am a very patriotic person. I have the utmost respect for our military, our police officers. So it's been very important for me over the years to give back. I've done a bunch of different events, like where we send care packages overseas to the troops, or we've played for an organization called Honor Flight, where we actually were playing as this huge plane came in with all World War II veterans that got this just rock star treatment in Washington, D.C. Wow. And we were like at a welcoming party with all these people waving to them. And
that's made me go cold. What a lovely thing to do. That's really kind.
It was incredible. We do a huge Christmas concert I'm also a big advocate for kids. I do a lot of mentoring with kids, like clinics about following your dreams or using the skills that you have to kind of follow the path that you want. We do a big concert for Toys for Tots every year. It's become their biggest fundraiser of the season locally, my concert that we do every year. I think we did almost 2,000 toys last year in a single night. And I also do a lot with animals. Those are kind of my three big.
I know you love your animals for sure. I know. How many do you own, Jessica?
Well, technically I own one, but I have like 8 little raccoons outside that come every day. So I guess I could say I own 9.
Exactly. Little family friends.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work that you do with a lot of different people, and I think you're right. Using your platform to do good and be kind and spread awareness and love as much as you can is wonderful. I mean, so I'm aware that you're the first single that you wrote, or the first song that you wrote when you were 16 was in aid of Alzheimer's. Is that right?
Yeah. Wow, you did do your research.
Yeah, well, it's very dear to my heart as well. I've just been working with a few artists who have been working with, giving as much funding as they can to the Alzheimer's Association. So I was really interested in that. How did that come about?
When I was 16, we had met a family friend, a couple, and the wife, the husband had it. And I, even at such a young age, seeing her care for him, and just, it really broke my heart. Like, just what a terrible, sad disease to have your memories like robbed like that. It's just, It really affected me even as a young kid. And so I wrote this song and I showed it to my dad, who at the time he's a retired New York City police officer, but he turned to composing new age music. And he was about to film his concert special with this huge orchestra, and I wasn't a part of it, and I just showed him the song, and he's like, you have to do that in the show. So I wound up playing that song in the show with his like star fiddle player. I say fiddle because of country, but violinist to be technical. He'd probably cringe if I said fiddler this close. And so when we just filmed my most recent television special, it was the whole purpose of the show was like an acoustic storytelling thing about music that was very important to me over the years, or songs that have shaped me. And we actually that was back in 2006 that we filmed that first show, and this was in 2019. And I got the same violinist to come and do the same song with me. So it was very special.
Yeah.
And it was a very weird moment, a very full circle moment for me. The venues were actually only 1 block apart. So to think about that many years later, coming back to the same place for another television special, it was, and in the show, if you see the DVD, we actually cut in footage from the original performance so many years ago.
Beautiful. That's really unique. Then that's really special, actually. Really special. What a lovely song. So with that, actually, so you've had an album out already, haven't you?
We have singles out and some EPs and a live album for my first
live
television
album. That's the
special.
one, the live album. I know what's coming is the album, but
Yeah.
we have had, I've listened to most of it really, and I've found that you do incorporate, as you said, the television element. So I know that also quite recently this year, you've just released a new television program as well. Is that right?
Yes.
It's called, and I do have the name here, Live at Dramatic.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's the one that after all the years of doing, my live show is very energetic, like very high energy.
You're very energetic on stage.
And it's usually like a full cardio workout for me by the end. So, I said after all these years of doing the other television specials and all these high energy shows that I wanted to strip it down and do something different. Like I wanted to show that I was the mind behind the music and that I do play all these instruments and that I am the one that arranges the music, and which is something that I don't think people know. So actually it's funny, a little inside thing. One of my main reasons for wanting to do a show like this, which became Live at Dramatic Hall, was I was playing locally, and there's a song where I jump behind the drums and I play the drums in the show. And I actually had a man come up to me after the show, if he ever sees this too, I don't know who, I never met him again, and asked me how I was able to sync up so good to the recording that was playing.
Right. And no,
it's like a compliment because he thought it was so good that it couldn't possibly be me playing, but also it was like, well, why do you think that I'm not all of that?
Right, capable of doing it because you play the guitar, the piano, the drums. I know that you choreograph lots of your work, lots of your videos. I know that you have a massive hand in the production. I know that you basically produce pretty much everything, so I know that's very important to you, and I mean, we'll talk about it in a minute, but the video to run to is beautiful. But also I've found in doing my research on you that you're very musical theater.
Yes, I started doing that. So I feel like when you have a brand or a message that you want to convey, you really need to be hands-on. And I've just learned over the years that nobody is ever going to work as hard for you as you're going to work for yourself. Even if you see the Christmas show that we do every year, there's a lot of footage on YouTube if anybody wants to look it up. It's called Jess T and a Very Merry Country Christmas. Everything from the set dressing to all the videos that you see to the costuming to the lighting cues to everything, I literally do every piece of it. Every present you see wrapped on that stage, I wrapped with my own hands and placed with my own hands. I'm extremely crazed about it, more type A than you could ever imagine. But in the end, you wind up with something that you're really proud of when you really put your heart and soul into everything that you do.
I think
and that's how I feel.
You have your own vision, and you can't argue that anyone's done it wrong. If you do it yourself, it's the best way. You can only blame yourself essentially, but you've done a great job, a great job. And the new video to run to has recently come out, and it has gone rather mental.
Thanks. I'm so happy. You get so nervous when you first produce something, oh my God, is it as good as I think it is? Are people going to connect with this? Is it going to be okay? Are people going to like it? And when it just started to spiral, I was so excited every day. I mean, I was looking at the views oh my gosh. And it was just so exciting. And we actually filmed the next singles music video. I'm literally surprised that I don't look like absolute death right now because we filmed it overnight. So we filmed from 5:30 p.m. to 8 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
And 2 nights ago. So I pretty much spent the whole next day just sleeping. And then yesterday was my first day awake, normal hours. And I felt so strange all day. So I'm trying to recover. But we filmed it at an old school drive-in movie theater.
Oh.
And it's really going to be very, very cool. Like classic summer, kind of Grease vibes, like very old school. I'm really, really excited about it.
Fantastic. That's the new single, and that is coming out on is that July the 20th?
17th.
The 17th, indeed, on the Friday. That is coming out on the Friday, July the 20th. I'll get there in a minute. July the 17th. Fantastic. And so the music video is done, ready to go. That's going to follow.
Yep. Probably 2 weeks after we're going to release it. And I really can't wait. I think it really portrays the story in the song really good. It's the first time I ever used actors for a subplot in a video.
Really? Oh.
So I'm excited about that. Something new for me. It was definitely brought new challenges. Bringing so many, Run 2 was kind of just me out in the field. So it was a lot easier to manage and organize. But everybody was so easy to work with. The kids were great. It's a story of young summer love. So we have these 2 adorable kids that just did so good. I was so proud of them. And I can't wait for everybody to see it. I really think it's going to be great.
We're all looking forward to hearing it for sure. What else did I want to ask you? So there's a few other things. I wanted to know about how you've managed to continue to record during the pandemic as well. Do you have a studio at home? How have you managed to, I mean, obviously you have your band with you and that helps immensely.
Yeah.
But how have you found sort of the producing and how have you managed to get through that way? Being,
we're very lucky that we have a home studio. So we've just been working like crazy since the quarantine hit. And it's, in a way, it didn't change our lives our lives changed a lot, but in the way that we would have been in the studio working on this record anyway.
Yeah.
And if anything, it kind of gave us more focus on it because I wasn't having to worry about heading to Europe or getting my currency exchanged or, any of these things that you have to worry about going on a trip. Yeah. My husband laughed at me. I pack like a month in advance because I stress out so much about it because it's 3 months away and you have one bag. Like it's a lot.
Well, that's impossible. I could never do that. So if you
always that thing about your shorts are so small.
That's the only way is to roll everything in, because my shoes would certainly take up 3 months worth. I can tell you.
I know it's hard. It's stressful. So we've been lucky. Right before the quarantine hit, we actually got the band over to record all of their parts. Like I'm not exaggerating that we probably finished with the band like one day before the lockdown hit. And so we had everything we needed to just roll. So we were very lucky.
On time, I guess. You got in there on time. So what are we going to be hearing? What kind of flavor is the album going to be, Jess? What are you going to show us? Because we know how fierce you are on stage. You're fierce on stage. You bring tons of energy. You rock it out. You are country rock. You really know how to absolutely bring the room down. I've seen you at Buckle and Boots. It was electric. The whole place was up dancing. It was wonderful. The atmosphere was brilliant. But we've also seen you in a very in a gentle light as well. Your ballads are very emotional. They're very I feel we all connect with them. They're beautifully written. They're beautifully produced. So I'm interested to know, do you have something, what is your vision with the new album, really?
My vision for the album was honestly to have no vision. And that sounds really silly.
No,
but what I mean by that is, over the years, it's very difficult to be yourself in the music business and also fit into what is going on. So often, like, my writing has been tainted by, the amount of times over the years that I've sat down and started to write like a beautiful ballad. I'm like, no, this isn't going to be good, like on the tour. Like, let's switch gears and write something fast. I could really kick myself because the amount of great writing and stories that I probably threw away just thinking and not feeling. Really, my New Year's resolution this year was you're going to sit down the first 2 weeks of 2020 and you're going to do nothing but write, and you're just going to write what comes out and nothing else. If it's the weirdest thing, you just roll with it and just see what happens. And I did that. Literally, I played my guitar and sang about 8 hours a day for the first 2 weeks of the year. And I wrote some of the best stuff that I have ever written, because it's just me. It's not trying to fit in on radio or what's going to be good at that festival, or it's just good music and good songs that, you know, are from the heart. And I also worried over the years that, you know, I have such a wide range of influences. Like, as you said, my music is very rock and roll. It's also very pop. It has a lot of soul influences and R&B influences. And over the years, I've really sometimes tried to rein that back, because I was like, well, I have to sound like this if I'm gonna, like, you know, get a top 40 or whatever. And you know what? For this record, I threw it all out the window, and my only vision was to just be me. So there's some tracks on there that are like gritty rock and roll country. There's some tracks on there like Now or Never that are pure power pop country. There's a retro style ballad that you're going to think you're like in 1950 when you listen to it. And that's all the stuff that I love. So all of that combined makes me who I am. And that's why I'm really, really excited about this record.
That sounds perfect, Jess. And the reason I say that is because simply you can't get any better than being yourself and being authentic and being true to yourself and writing the way that your heart just takes you, you know?
Yeah.
No overthinking, just as is. And so the music, so what kind of feel is the whole album, as in, like you say, so there's a bit more retro, but that's a bit different for you, isn't it? So that's quite interesting. You've gone into other subgenres, perhaps.
I would say that every track is a base of country with heavy pedal steel, but it is very rock and roll, blues, and soul influenced and pop influenced. It literally is a mix of all the genres that I love. So you're going to hear like gritty rock and roll guitar that might remind you of like 80s style guitar, which you heard and run to with that big like 80s power ballad solo in the middle. That's like a theme that you'll see throughout the record. There's a lot of very Motown background vocals on a lot of the songs. On several of the songs, I did about 35 tracks of background vocals alone. So you'll see that element mixed with the rock and roll element. There's a lot of dance drum beats. Yeah, it's like literally a mix of everything, and somehow it works.
Brilliant. No, that sounds really exciting and really full. It sounds like we've got a lot to look forward to. So I am looking forward to hearing it. Also, so in terms of obviously touring and things like that, what else are you missing during? I know lockdown has kind of eased for you guys a little bit now, hasn't it? And we're getting there. But what did you miss most? So it's sort of more personal to you, because obviously you had your family around. I just wonder, you know, whether eating out, you know, or like cinema and the sort of things. And I know that you don't get to do a great deal because you tour so much. So suddenly you have all this time. What were the things that you kind of missed?
I love eating out. Like, I really, that's one of my favorite things to do. Like, I really do. I miss that. And at first I cooked a lot and I tried all these different recipes. I eat vegan at home. Yeah. So I was trying all these different vegan recipes. I made vegan meatballs. I made vegan stuffed shells. I made like all this crazy cool stuff. And then I got so sick of cooking that we literally, and cleaning the dishes, that I think we were eating out like 3 meals a day with takeout, which was like really bad. And it's funny because I was just eating like total garbage, because I never, like, I always have to worry about going on tour or like looking good for photos or in shape or whatever. And I was like, you know what? I have nothing to do right now. I'm just going to eat Pizza Hut, Taco Bell. Like, I was doing all the worst foods. whatever. And I was like, you know, I'm just gonna do what I want. And then, as my luck would have it, we wound up switching the single because Now or Never actually wasn't going to be the next song, and it had such a summer fun vibe that when we finished that against the one that we were gonna release, we're like, we got to switch. Like, it's got to be Now or Never for summer. No pun intended. It had to be Now or Never for that song. And it was like, all right, we're going to film the music video in 2 weeks. So we get it out in summer. I'm like, oh my God, I like put my Taco Bell taco down. Like, okay. Like, push my pile of fast food away. Like, okay, I guess I'm back on the wagon now.
Yeah, where's the lettuce? Oh, absolutely. It's just interesting, isn't it? I mean, so how is music going out in the States right now? Are you able to do any type of performing where you are, or not yet?
Nothing.
I know people are doing drive-ins and things like that, but you're not there yet, no?
No, it's really weird because even though some things are opening, they're really not opening. Like, now you can go into a restaurant and eat, but at 50% capacity. So the tables are so far apart. There's like 10 people in the restaurant eating. Like, it's just a very, it doesn't feel like things are really open yet. And also it's just kind of stressful. Like, I don't know, like it's just a very weird vibe. Like, no matter what you do, there's always going to be someone that complains, like, you know, about you're wearing a mask, you're not wearing a mask. Like, there's like a million and one things that it's like, I don't even want the stress of, even in the restaurants. I don't know if you have this rule or you will have this rule. You have to put your mask. I went to a restaurant for the first time the other day for my drummer's birthday party at a small thing at an outdoor seating thing. You had to wear your mask to walk up to the podium where the woman would seat you, wear your mask the next 10 feet, but once you crossed into the dining room, you could take your mask off. So,
like, okay.
Does the virus is it only contagious on this part of the tile for whatever reason? Like, there's all these very weird rules in New York that honestly make zero sense. If it's in the air, it's in the air. Me walking 5 feet is not going to prevent it from.
For sure. So you just think, I'll just eat at home.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. I'm like, now that the video's over, I'm getting my Taco Bell and my Pizza Hut again. No one's going to stop me. It's Now or Never.
We've said, we don't need to worry so much about this summer. We just go straight to Christmas, but next year is going to be quite a year. And obviously you're going to have the opportunity to go back out there and really promo these singles and the new album, which will be amazing. So, Jess, I'm going to ask you, would you like to sing me? I'd love you to sing me a song. I'd love you to sing whatever you'd like, actually, but Run To would be great.
I would love that.
That would be
I would definitely do that.
So much.
Right. Let's see if there's a sip of water.
No problem.
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
I can't just quiet my mind. It talks all the time now. Figuring us out. Where do we go? All of the questions again, they feel like quicksand now. They're pulling me so down, but I never show that I already know. I wanna run to anything that makes me feel you. I'm trying my best, what would I do? I've lied to myself for too long. I need to touch you, hold you in my arms tonight, tell you my secrets are down to. Baby, will you go the way I wanna run to? I can't remember a time that I didn't think of all of the shadows. They tear me. Baby, I'm dying inside, trying to hide what might be real love, and I'm tired of hiding. I wanna run to anything that makes me feel. Trying my best, but when I do, I lie to myself for so long. I need to touch you, hold you in my arms tonight, tell you the secrets I got to. Baby, will you go the way I wanna run? Anything that makes me feel. I'm trying my best, but when I do, I'm not to myself for so long. I need to touch you, hold you in my arms, and I do tell you the secrets I got to. Baby, will you go I've lied to myself for you.
Oh, let's have both of us on there. There she goes. That was hello there, Jess. That was absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What a song that is. I just want to say, I have to say a big thank you to Georgie at Dixie Fields that has made today possible. And you are also performing this weekend as part of Dixie Fields as well, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I'm very excited.
You're over here with us on the field, you know, with us all powering through and drinking and singing with you. But we will be on the other end of the screen. So that's this weekend. That's right.
Yes, and I was so excited. It's been really cool too. I was really sad when the tour got canceled, and it's been so nice to be so embraced by everybody in the UK and to be asked to do all these live streams and shows, even from so far away. And I can't wait to see everybody next year. And I had such a good time today. Thank you for having me, and I can't wait to see you guys in person.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to meeting you sometime real soon. Jessica, thank you so much for today. It's been lovely to meet you and lovely to talk to you. And we'll see you again soon.
Okay.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Hi guys, it's Jess T on countryradiouk. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and know that there will be plenty more music videos, live exclusives and performances from country music artists across the UK and beyond.